लाकया चक्षुर्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, second Canto, 6th chapter, beginning from verse number 9. Brahma is continuing to explain the creation which is rooted in the Supreme Lord, and he is explaining how from the different limbs of Lord's body the universe and the different objects of this universe have appeared. So there are two types of people, some who believe that world is created by God, and then there are others, the scientists, who believe that it appeared by itself, and they have this theory of evolution, theory of natural selection. But now among the scientists there are two groups. There is one group of scientists who believe that there is a design behind the universe. The universe cannot come into existence just by its own. They have studied DNA, and everybody knows that DNA is very complex and there is a lot of information in it, and it's even hard to decode it, this information. So this amount of complexity and the functions which it performs, it is not possible unless it has been designed by some intelligent person. It cannot just evolve like that. So example is like we have computer and it has its hardware and software. So it is difficult to imagine that computer can just evolve like that by natural selection or whatever means, and not that there is somebody who actually thinks about it, designs it, and then utilizes it. And the complexity in DNA is much more than the computer. And everything has its function, its programming, how it works. So there are many examples like this. Another one they have is irreducible system. That anything which evolves, it will have parts in it which are useful to it, and they have gradually evolved to that particular stage. But there are certain systems in which if you remove one part of it, then the whole system does not work. So especially the human eye is an example of that. So the way it functions, it is not that it can evolve. Evolving means that you go to the previous stage, then it is different in design, certain structure is different, and still it has to function, it has to be functional. But irreducible systems are those that if you remove any part from that system, then the whole system collapses. Cannot change anything, it has to be the way it is. And such irreducible systems are completely against the theory of evolution, because they cannot evolve. The object which is, or the parts which constitute that irreducible system have to be there the way they are. So there are also irreducible systems in the bodies of human beings and other beings, and they function the way they function. If you change anything in them, then the whole system becomes dysfunctional, which means it cannot evolve. So what is being described here by Brahma is that there is a design behind this universe. It has not evolved just like that. But Lord, He has planned it. There is a scheme and things have appeared from Him. That is being stated here by Brahma. So we read how the various things have appeared, fire and foods and tastes and forms, etc. And now in this verse he says that Parabhuter adharmasya tamsaschapi paschimah nadyo nada nadinam tu gotranam asti samhiti. That the backside of the Lord, it is the source of defeat, adharma and tamas. These things appear from His back. As we know that the chest of the Lord is dharma and backside is adharma. Which means that if we are not conscious of the Lord, then there will be only unrighteousness. There will be immorality. Because what is the foundation of morality or religion or righteousness if there is no God, if there is no rebirth, if there is no karma, if none of these things are accepted, then so-called morality has no foundation and it will not be stable, it can change. So therefore it is called tamas, that it is in ignorance. It has no meaning. And nadyo nad nadinam tu gotranam asti sanghati. The veins of the Lord, they are the rivers, small and big. And the bones are the mountains. तमसो अज्ञानस्य पश्चिमे पृष्ठभागे गोत्राणाम पर्वतानाम. So tamas means ignorance. So if we don't have knowledge of God, then all our knowledge is termed as ignorance. In Krishna has listed many things in Bhagavad Gita, and those things He calls as knowledge. Ete jnana iti prokta jnana tato annata. And everything else He says is ajnana. So knowledge about Lord, about His creation, about soul, about the scriptures, this is called jnana. Because that only leads us to light, makes us understand who we are, what is the purpose of life, and why the creation is existing. And if that knowledge is not there, then everything else is all related with matter. And matter is Prakriti. So that knowledge is also considered as ajnana. Avyaktam Raso Nadisaram. It's not commenting in this verse. Avyakta rasa sindhunam bhutanam nidhanasya cha udaram viditam punsho hridayam manasah padam. And he says that the Avyakta rasa and sindhu bhutanam nidhanasya cha udaram viditam punsho hridayam manasah padam. The belly of the Lord, it is the source of the unmanifest matter, pradhan, and also of the essence of things, rasa, and of the oceans, sindhu, and bhutanam nidhanasya cha, also the dissolution of the material elements, because It is envisioned that at the time of dissolution, everything in this creation goes into the belly of the Lord. And Hridayam Manasapadam, the heart of the Lord, that is the source of the mind. Mind has come from the heart. Dharmasya mamatubhyam cha kumaranam bhavasya cha vijnanasya cha sattvasya parasya atma parayana. Then he says that the chitta of the Lord, which you call sometimes translated as mind, but there is no other English word for this. Sometimes it is called heart, but he has already used the word hridayam. So this chitta is the source of dharma, and Brahma says of him, and also of Narada, of the Kumaras, of Shiva, of intelligence, and also the chitta of people. All these things have appeared from the chitta of the Lord. Avyaktam pradhanam raso annadi sarah bhutanam nidhanasya pranimatralayasya tubhyam tav kumaranam sankadinam bhavasya sri rudrasya vijnanasya buddhe sattvasya chittasya atmanah karanam. So he says that all these great personalities like Shiva, Kumara, Narada and Brahma, especially because these are all givers of knowledge, and they are here in this world to preach and guide the living beings. So they all have come from the chitta of the Lord, and also the intelligence to discriminate, and also our chitta also, the individual chitta and chitta of the cosmic being. The function of chitta is basically to store things, memory and reasoning that comes from it. And then he goes on to say that says aham bhavan bhavascha ima munayo agrajaha surasura nara naga khaga mriga sarisripaha gandharva apsaraso yaksha raksho bhut guno ganorgaha pashvaha pitraha siddha vidyadhara charana drumaha अन्ये च विविधा जीवा जलस्थल नभौकसः ग्रहरक्षकेतवस्तारा तडितः स्तनयितनवः सर्वः पुरुषम् एवेदं भूतं भव्यं भवच्चेत् तेन इदम् आवृतं विश्वं वितस्तिम् अधितिष्ठति. So he gives a very big list now of the different things, and he says that all this is the Lord himself, and the things which are mentioned are, he says, I Brahma, you Narada, Shiva and all the sages headed by Kumaras, the demigods, the asuras, human beings and the snakes and birds, animals, creepers, Gandharvas, Apsara, Yaksha, Rakshasas, Bhutas, another variety of snakes which are not poisonous, the beasts, the forefathers, Siddhas, Vidyadharas, Charanas, and the trees, and then various types of other living beings such as aquatics, those found on the land and in the sky, and the planets and lunar system, the comets, stars, lightning and the thundering clouds, and whatever has existed in the past, whatever is existing now, whatever will exist in future, all this is the Supreme Being. So this is actually the ultimate statement. First he has given a list of things. But as Krishna says that everything is his vibhuti, yadyad vibhuti mat sattvam Srimad ugitameva tattadeva ugachatvam mum tegavansi sambhavam. So it is all manifestation of my splendor. So now here Brahma is also saying that everything is manifestation of the Lord. Nothing is separate from him, nothing is independent of him, and nothing works without his supervision. And tenaidam avritam visvam. It is the Lord who is covering the universe. Yet he is not just the universe, he is more than it. Therefore he says that vitastim adhitishtati. Vitasti is a measurement. If you stretch your forefinger and the thumb, then this distance is called vitasti. It is also equal to the 10 fingers. So he says that this is only covering just one vitasti of the Lord, which means that Lord is much more than what is manifest in the material world. He is not just contained in this. So even if by empirical means we can know this universe, still we will not know everything, because there is much more which is beyond this universe. But that also can be known by following scriptures. So therefore religion or the scriptures give us knowledge which is beyond the realm of science. Science is giving some knowledge, but there is also knowledge beyond that. It cannot be just limited that scientific knowledge is the only knowledge. So this is the meaning that tenaidam avritam visvam vitastim adhitishtati. That he has covered this just by one vitasti. Evam maya saktimatah parameshwarat jatam jagat na tato bhinnam. Because Lord, he is the supreme master of Maya, which is his energy, and this universe has come from the Maya of the Lord. Therefore it has also come from him, and thus it is not different from him. Because just as if you take some golden ornaments, then these golden ornaments are not different from gold. So similarly, because this material world has manifested from external potency of Krishna, then it is not different from him. So that's why Vedas say sarvam khalu idam brahma, that all this is Brahma, because it is his energy. Purusha suktartha kathnena dradhayati. And this he speaks, substantiates by giving the meaning of Purushukta. Purushukta is famous from Rig Veda, and in Rig Veda also it is said that there is Lord who has 1,000 heads, 1,000 hands and so on, and everything has come from him. Brahmana samukhamasik bahu rajan krita. But then and it says atisthat dasa ungulam, that Lord is covering this, yet he is outside and he is beyond this universe. This dasangulam is same as vitasti. One vitasti is equal to 10 fingers. If you measure the width of 10 fingers together, that makes one vitasti. So here the word vitasti is used, there the word dasangulam is used. So there also the statement is given Purushaiva idam sarvam. Brahmanasya mukhamāsīd ityādescha riktrayasya artha purva dhyaya eva darshita. In the previous chapter also, this meaning of Brahmanasya mukhamāsīd bahurajanyam krita, it was shown. Because in the previous chapter also there was a one verse where we read that the four varnas appeared from his body. So now he is giving the further meaning of Purushokta. Where is that verse? पुरुषस्य मुखम ब्रह्म क्षत्रम एतस्य बाहव पूर्व वैश्य भगवत पदभ्याम शूद्रो भेजायते. So that's what he is referring, that it was shown there. Purushaiva idam sarvam iti yasya artham darshayati aham bhavan iti sardha tribhi. So in these 3.5 verses it is shown that everything is the Lord and nothing is beyond him. Everything exists in him. एवं प्रपंच कारणत्वं परमेश्वरस्य दर्शित्वा तस्य प्रपंचातीतं वदन् प्रपंचस्य तत्परिच्छेद्यत्वम् आह. So in this way he says that after showing that Lord is the cause of this universe, he wants to show that although he is cause, he is beyond the universe. He is not just part of it. He is also outside and has much more qualities which are not found here. So many times people try to understand and give logic that if God is all powerful, omnipotent, then can he create a stone which he cannot lift? These types of statement. Or can he hang himself? So he can do all these things and yet he can remain alive. He can create a stone which he cannot lift and yet he can remain omnipotent. Because he is not just part of the universe. He can expand himself and in one form, okay, he can be like as if he cannot lift. He can become a child. Baby Krishna, he cannot lift. And yet he is omnipotent. No problem. He can have the qualities like this. So he is not just bound to the logic of material world. That is the meaning. When it is said that he is prapanchatit, then it is possible for him to have qualities which we don't comprehend in this world. Like this pastime of Krishna that he married 16,000 girls after he killed Bhamasura. And he married them in one Muhurta. And it is possible to marry 16,000. Many kings had many wives. So he could have also married. But if he has to marry them one every day, then it will take some 45 years to marry all of them. So he will be old by that time. And even these girls will become old. So he married them in one day. So that is also possible that you gather them all together and then marry. So he did not marry them all together. He married them in different palaces, each one in a separate palace. So that is also possible. He can go from one to another. But if he has to spend 1 minute in one place or at least 5 minutes to do the marriage, then how long it will take? So he married them all at the same time. Because you have seen Indian marriages, they are quite elaborate. Even now things have been squeezed, they have been made short, but still it takes few hours for any marriage ceremony. Nothing happens less than 5-6 hours at least are needed. So even that is not possible. So it is said that he married all of them in one muhurta and in separate places. So then it is possible that he expanded himself like yogis, making kaya vyuha. So, but that did not happen because even the great yogis were surprised to see that he did that. And he married only in one body. Tainaiva vapusha. Bhagavatam says that only in one body, vapu means body, he married all of them in separate places. And he was not running from one place to another place. So he manifested his forms, which are called prakash manifestation. And these prakasha manifestations are not like kaya vyuha, but they are independent existences, yet it is only one body, one person. So this we cannot conceive in the material world. So that is the meaning, that he is prapanchatit. He is beyond the universe. Prapanchasya tat parichedyatvam ah. Yet this universe is contained by him. It is not that you can also build many things. You can build a big house or big building, big industry. But it's not that you pervade that thing. You live in one place and that construction is somewhere else. But God is pervading this universe and yet He is outside. This is very difficult to understand. Tena parameswarena idam vishvam avritam yato adhi vishvasmad adhikam vitasti pramanam desham vyapya tishtati iti adhikya matram vivakshitam na pramanam. So he is, after pervading, he is one vitasti extra. So of course, when it is said Atishtat Dasangulam in Purush Sukta, that he was 10 fingers above the universe, it doesn't mean 10 fingers. That is just to say that he is beyond the universe. Not that he is just only this much more. But he is beyond the universe, that is the meaning. Tasya aparichannatvena apramanatvat. Because Lord is unlimited. It is not possible to measure him, how big he is. So sometimes, even when the measurement is given that he is existing inside the heart of every being, the size of the thumb, then it doesn't mean that he is the size of the thumb only. He appears like that, and even in that size of thumb, he is unlimited. Even when he appears limited, even when he appears medium size, like a human being, he is still unlimited. This is the most amazing thing about God. That he was standing in front of Yashoda, and Yashoda was trying to bind him with the ropes. And all these big ropes could not bind him. Although his size did not increase, it's not that he has expanded himself. At least when he went to the sacrifice of Bali Maharaj, he went as a small boy and then he became Trivikram and he measured the universe. So he had expanded his form. But in case of Krishna, which was bound by Mother Yashoda, he did not expand. He remained same size, normal. And yet he was unlimited in size. This is very difficult thing to grasp. So why is that? Because he is aparichinna. So even when he appears to be limited, he remains unlimited simultaneously. Both things can happen. So therefore he can make a stone which is too heavy that he cannot lift. It is possible for him. Can do. एवं स भूमिं सर्वतः स्पृष्ट्वा अत्यतिष्ठति इति अत्यतिष्ठत् दशांगुलम् इति अस्य अर्थो विवृते. So he touched the whole land, the complete universe, yet he remained outside. This is the meaning of the Purushukta. Tatra bhumim ityasya artho vishwam. The word bhumi, which literally means earth, means the universe. Dasangulam ityasya artho vitastim iti atishthad ityasya artho adhitishtati. So he is trying to show that this verse of Bhagavatam has words which are reflections of the words in the Purushukta. We read earlier that this is called Nigama Kalpataror Galitam Phalam, the mature fruit of the Vedas. So fruit also has characteristics of the tree in it. So because it is the fruit of the Vedas, there are many slokas in Bhagavatam which match with the statements of the Vedas. You will find similar words in the Vedas as they are found here. Sometimes the word may be a little different and the meaning is same. Sometimes the same words are used. So this is because it is the fruit of the Vedas, and that's what has been shown here. So I think I will stop here.